Welcome to the acid test. Good evening. I wanted to make that really awkward and say good evening. Look down the barrel. How you doing, Luke?
Good.
I'm going immediately around the table.
Good evening to everyone.
I know. Isn't good evening like really awkward?
Yeah. Bad evening.
Sean, how you doing?
Good evening.
Brett, how you going?
Good evening.
Welcome to Channel 7 News.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm Rick Arden, yeah.
You wish, mate.
Big horse
Oh, man.
regarding.
Oh, man, don't you reckon, though, those two... Actually, I was talking... Funny note, I was talking to someone the other day, and they came on the TV, and this
Jeez,
guy...
they clean it up.
No, this guy that I was with at the time, he was just like, he goes, geez, they look all right for their age, don't they? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And he goes... They look like they've had a bit of panel beating done, don't you reckon?
Panel beating.
And I lost it. I've never heard anyone refer to cosmetic surgery as panel beating, and that's just for me. That's the best call.
Oh, they've been on air together since like the 80s, right?
Yeah, since Way Out Yonder.
Well, the
Wow,
people
yeah.
call people with like big horse bodies chassis. So I guess
You know, Rick Arden is actually like a mountain of a man. He's like 6'6".
Yeah, man, he's huge. Yeah.
He's an horse. Like,
He's a big horse.
truck.
Big horse.
Big horse Rick Arden.
Big ups. Yeah. All right, first topic of the week. We've got Brett, right?
It's me.
Yeah.
All right, going to kick it off with a little bit of a discussion. So I've got a question for you, boyos. So obviously, all of us are, I'd like to think we're all pretty good mates.
You like to think that.
No,
Awkward.
all things aside, obviously, like we're all pretty close. But on that note, so I've noticed it doesn't matter what friendship circle it is I guess the question I've got for you guys is why is it that the people that we are the closest to, we end up being the meanest to?
I want
And
to
before you answer, I want you to
hell,
actually genuinely think about the question.
jump the gun. Yeah, well,
Because I knew someone was going to jump the gun and get straight into talking, but actually think about it.
to be fair, you mentioned it off air, so I already had the thought process. The wheels are in motion. Like, no panel beating required. No, the wheels never stop spinning. Like
Chassis all greased up.
chassis is
ready to go.
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to be one of those nights where we'd make a lot of mechanic jokes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
One of those nights.
the wrench was turned.
Such a classic night.
Yeah, right.
All right,
Hit me.
let me put the axle back together, and
Fucking hell.
that didn't make sense.
Let's take this conversation into second
I want to
gear.
accelerate the
Yeah.
conversation now.
Put the conversation into
Yeah.
drive.
And maybe I'll pump the brakes
I
there,
think
Sean.
the main factor is comfort. You're more comfortable with the people, so you feel like you can say more to them and either get away with it, or things will be fine in the long run. Or if it's just like riffing off each other, that it's like it might not be in good taste, but things will move on and everything will be okay. Like you might give, they might give back. So I think it's the main factor is comfort, and everyone takes their own time to open up to people, warm up to people. We've had well over 10 years to all warm up to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've known, out of this group, I think I've known Brady the least amount of time, and I've probably still known you
How old are we now?
9
10
years.
years.
Yeah, like at least 9, if not... No, probably more, probably 10.
Well done for hanging in there.
Look, it's been a wild ride, but you're welcome.
So I think we're all pretty damn comfortable with each other. And I'd say like our group is, in terms of the banter scale, we're pretty high. Like
Oh,
we're quite banterous.
we don't mind tearing shreds off each other.
Bantersaurus Rex.
I've got
banterous.
some shit that could probably send you guys to prison, and probably likewise.
Pretty much. But we're not on the level where you see those fucking stupid videos on Facebook of like blokes pranking each other or just doing like stupid shit like that. You know what I mean?
Physically
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Like those, like fucking
Just like
getting
dumb
like,
shit.
Yeah, dumb
Setting
shit.
them on fire while they're sleeping or something.
I'd like to
Yeah.
think we're a little bit more intelligent with our banter.
Our banter, it's much more
Witty.
verbal.
Yeah, it's witty.
No, I
So,
wouldn't say it's just verbal.
Yeah.
So, all right, Luke, what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's it's a comfort factor, but I think also it's just a human thing to just love to be able to speak your mind, and sometimes like you're like really close to someone that you just want to say something that's the absolute truth about something, but can also be a bit mean.
Okay.
As in a joke, like you might crack a joke to someone and that might offend them a bit, but because they're your closest mate, you can sort of get away with it because
I think they know you as a person, so they know your intentions, I suppose.
They're not a
Yeah.
stranger, so they're not going to be like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, like if you-
Well, they might, but they know they're going to come around for a beer tomorrow night.
pretty much. If you said a mean joke to a stranger, they would get really pissed off at you. But if you say it to your friend, they might get pissed off, but they can forgive you because you're friends. So yeah, I think it's just because we just like to speak our mind about stuff, that we like to just say what we're thinking and not feel any repercussions for it, because we know that at the end of the day, they'll still be friends with us.
So, Brady, do you have anything to add? What are your thoughts?
I'm wondering whether this is a Western thing as well.
Possibly.
I'd say it's probably more Western than it is not. I don't know how to
Because I know in
phrase
like
that properly. but
in other cultures, even like in Middle Eastern cultures, the relationship between men is very different, and in India as well. Guys who are friends will like hold hands and walk down the street and stuff. So their relationship, the way that they have that relationship, is completely different to like a Western outlook. So I'm wondering whether it's men who do this, because I don't know that many girls who are friends and they just shit talk each other constantly and then laugh and then keep going. It gets to
It's a
them.
blokey thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a blokey thing. Like, obviously, like there's oftentimes you hear drama between women because they're like having little snipes at each other.
Oh, fucking
But it's
sexist
behind their
Sean,
back.
do it again.
Oh, shit.
yeah,
It's
whereas
their face.
It's true.
I'd say that we talk shit pretty much very directly.
We offend each other, but we seem to get over it pretty quickly and not really care too much.
Now, cool. All right. So I like your answers, boys. But now I actually want you to answer the first part of the question, and that is, why are we mean?
Yeah, so
Because what I'm saying is, yes, you've pointed out that's reasons why we might say these things and why the other person might accept what we're saying, but why are we actually mean?
yeah, so that's actually something I wanted to mention. Like, we've only spoken about mean jokes or banter. What about why are we directly mean? Like, why, if we've had a bad day at work, will we take it out on people we're close to? Like, people go home to their wife or husband or whatever, they've had a bad day, and then they just unload on that person or on their kids. Why do people do that? Is that because they're the people they encounter the most? As a proximity thing, perhaps. Maybe they like lost their mind at the bus driver on the way back, or a stranger. Like, we don't know that, but something that you see more of is people going home to their family and unleashing it that way. And I don't know if it's purely a coincidence because it's the people that they're nearest to at that time, or if it's that's just the most common recorded case, and all those other cases that happen in society is sort of lost to society, if you know what I mean.
It's like you said at the start, comfort. Like, I know if I've had a really bad day, I know that if I go home and I'm pissed off and I'm saying whatever, that there is that sort of assumption of understanding coming from the other end, that they know the kind of day I've had because they know what I do and all this kind of stuff. Whereas if you're pissed off and then somebody random comes in, you feel more hesitant to just unload on them because, one, you don't know their reaction. So that could be another reason why, because if you unload on someone close to you, the odds of them being like angry or whatever are lower. But if you do that to a random, you turn around and just beat the shit out of you. You have no idea.
I was going to say, could you also then be worried about the repercussions of what that stranger might think about you as a person? So could it sort of be as maybe like a little bit of like an ego projection in that if, let's say, I didn't know you, Brady, I could, let's say I was to unload on Luke, and obviously we're friends, and he might just go, oh, well, Brett's had a shit day, that's fine.
Yeah.
But obviously if you're a total stranger and I unload on you, then you go, well, this guy's a dickhead.
Yeah.
And then I might feel self-conscious because I go, well, this guy's going to think I'm a dickhead, even though I don't know you.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, unloading on those closest to you, it might not have, they might be understanding, but it can still have a negative effect long term, and it can sit in the back of people's minds and make them sort of almost, I'm going to assume this is the right word, reticent to sort of open up to you. So if you come home and you're angry, they might be like, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And you go, no, fuck off. I'm really pissed off. Then next time you come home and you say, I'm pissed off, they're just going to like leave the room, or they're just going to not care as much.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how frequently it's happening. Like if if it's a weekly occurrence, or like even some people might get pissed off at a monthly occurrence, where you come home and you just unleash hell, and that person that's receiving all that hell is probably pissed off. They probably had a shit day as well. And it's not that hard to just sort of contain your anger and just
Or
not
find a better outlet, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like go to the gym or run or something, or just like do something that is a bit more peaceful than absolutely just hurling abuse at someone that you love as well.
So like you guys are kind of on the right track, but what I'm kind of getting at is you guys are talking about instances where I'm, not me personally, but like where people are aggressive or they come home and have a shit day and they're angry because of that. But what I'm getting at is why is it that we're mean? So like you guys, you know, we're all best friends.
Yeah.
Why do we choose to be mean to each other as like a form of humor? So like think about the question. It's not that like
Like,
you know,
why in general are we mean?
why in general are we mean to each other as our form of humor? Like we could
Yeah.
easily crack jokes about like not, you know, obviously we all play Dream Team and, you know, like sport related stuff. And our form of getting along is banter, which is, even though we take it on the chin and it's a humorous thing,
Can be a super negative thing.
it's a super negative thing. Like if people walked past and heard some of the things that we've said to each other, even though we take it as like it's, you know, as all in
wouldn't
good
care,
fun.
yeah.
Is others could think like, oh my God, these guys are actually mates. Like, so what I'm saying is, well, what I'm asking is, why is it that we're mean to each other as a form of expression?
That's such a good question. I think there's many factors. So comfort and proximity are things we've already touched on. I think they're two of the reasons why, and it's just, and that transcends like humor, because when we're being funny, we're not necessarily trying to have a go at each other. But I mean, now I'm sort of thinking that every time you rip into Freo, you sort of just like low key love me, Brett. So I'll accept that. I'll accept that, and no more words need to be spoken about it.
I think there's also like a subconscious element of like social hierarchy, which
A dominance thing.
yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So I'm going to give you my 2 cents on it all. So
I'm speaking here, Brett.
shut up.
That's so
You've
aggressive.
spoken enough. Yeah, I thought we were friends, Brady.
Such an Aries.
So I spoke to a bunch of people during the week, and I wanted to sort of gauge a bunch of people's answers. And you guys are not alone in the way that you answered, because everyone kind of answered along the same lines, and everybody always thinks about the person receiving the criticism or banter, whatever you want to call it. And everyone always considers their feelings, which I find really ironic, because you're not actually talking about your own, we'll say, like verbal insults as the action of the root cause. So a lot of the answers I got is that I had someone tell me that they think it's because you can be the most honest with those people. Had someone say, similar to you said, it's a bit of a hierarchy thing. And then most others just said that the person just kind of takes it because they know who you are and they know that it's not directed personally. See, I think I don't think it's so much maybe with us, but it can be probably to a certain degree, is that in our group of friends I think it comes down to the insult has a big level of honesty to it, and you say it maybe obviously banterous. Is that a word? Is banterous?
It is now.
It's banterous
public
is a word.
domain.
Cool. You say it with obviously like a level of banter, but then there's also a little bit of a spite thrown in there with the honesty. And so you might say, hey, like, you know, whatever the insult is, and there is maybe 60% humor to it and 40% truth, and you know that they will take it, but they're still gonna love you because you're friends. And then on the other side, I think it's a self-conscious thing, and that, you know, the classic, like, you put others down to build yourself up.
Yeah, there was a good like patch of, you know, our friendship, Brady, where, and sorry to our international listeners, where you were an absolute cunt.
Lovely.
Wait, that stopped?
For international listeners, what does that mean?
You're an arsehole. And
I didn't know he stopped being one.
Yeah,
It's news to me.
Two completely different body parts.
nah, but like neck level, like you were pretty mean.
This
and,
was probably what, about 4
yeah.
years ago.
Looks like last week.
Like this morning.
I'm
yeah.
staring.
like
morning.
you were just very
That's a great example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's obviously the kind of humor that we talk about, right?
yeah, and you were very immature and. As much as you had your like really friendly patches, you were also like really annoying at some points, and I wasn't set on you as a friend.
No, fuck you. That's not. No, I know exactly what you mean. I'm very self-aware about who I am as a person and growing, and I think it's a tough thing to do. But
And would you say that was a self-conscious thing as well?
when I am very aware of when this was, and I reckon maybe 5+ years ago, I was like at my peak of just getting enjoyment out of pissing people off. And I think a lot of people go through this when they're, you know, a bit younger, usually in their teens and that. And the whole trolling element of the internet is kind of a new phenomenon that people take too far, and I definitely took too far. But I think if you can notice that you're doing it and over time try and stop it a little bit, you can, become the person you want to be. But it's it's a difficult process.
What was the driving force behind you behaving that way? Was it insecurity driven power or?
No, it was. Luckily, I'm in a position now that I don't have a lot of these mental issues, but I had a lot of issues with depression. I had a lot of issues with just not having my own self-esteem. And so, like Brett said, in order to make yourself feel bigger than you are, you put other people down. And so it took time to realize that these are people who care about you and you care about. So actually, if you can build them up, they will also build you up. And so you don't necessarily, you don't need to be big by comparison. Everybody needs to make each other. This sounds really sexual, make each other bigger, but no, it's a tough thing. So people out there who are in that mindset of trolling or making other people feel shitty to make themselves feel better. You don't have to be that way as a person. It's something that you choose to do, and I still do it, but I like to think not as much anymore.
Down.
Yeah, and to take some of the heat off you, Brady, I think that we're all guilty of that.
Yeah,
we all
definitely.
And that definitely
Yeah.
extends past us five, and obviously extends to our big group of friends.
It's a very Australian thing, I think, though.
I think so as well. I think amongst us, it definitely comes down to that classic, like boys' club. Like obviously, most of us grew up playing like a sport, like a team sport, and you just rip on each other. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. I think like from a psychology standpoint, that's definitely so like having that social dominance. That's something because humans are like a pack society sort of thing. It's hierarchical, yeah. So everyone's when they're in their early 20s, like fighting to be the alpha male, so to speak.
And it's definitely like among men. I find I'm very close with a lot of all my guy mates from high school. Like I'm still best mates with. Whereas obviously my partner and her friends, their groups fall apart. It's like Swiss cheese, full of holes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no. So I just think there's that element to it. Like we're just potentially born this way, and the way society is developed, it's turned out to be like ripping on each other rather than. Like for our group, rather than fighting physically, which like many other groups would have, where they just get into fights with each other, even though they're best mates. It's just that dominance thing that everyone's born with. Like,
but again, this is something that because it's a social construct, you can still decide to be a part of it or not. So that's something that I have noticed with our group and with other groups, that there is definitely like a set where people try and fit into certain roles, or people try and put other people into certain roles so that they don't have to be in that role themselves, so to speak, like throwing people under the bus so they don't get hit. But that's something that we as people choose to do. And if you don't want to play that game, you don't want to be like, I don't want to do this whole bullshit about who's the alpha, who's this, who's that. It's fucking pathetic. We're all individual people. You don't have to. But the hard thing is getting everybody on the same page, because it's not necessarily a conscious thing.
Yeah, but that's because that's inherent. You're inherently designed to behave that way. So the people that aren't like, I'm not going to fit into this social norm, this, that, and the other. That's not the norm.
Exactly.
Like the norm is to want to be the alpha male. The norm is to want to fit into a role in society. The norm is to want to find a mate and procreate. Like you're born with these certain traits.
It's instinctual.
Yeah, it's an instinct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's the word when you're just like born with something? It starts with a P.
Hereditary, maybe?
No, hereditary.
Well, it's not hereditary because it's people.
Predisposition? Is that what you mean?
No, not a predisposition. I don't know. I've gone blank.
But if you're just you think about it, if you're one of those people, I guess, who maybe does stray from the norm, then you sometimes maybe become the punching bag of the group.
Yeah.
Because you're the oddball.
Yeah, because you're sympathetic, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. You're different.
But people will take advantage of that.
Absolutely, because
if you
people
let
like
them,
to
though, yeah.
deflect.
Yeah.
We always joke it like handballing the blame. There's people in groups that are easy targets and yada yada yada.
For sure. Well, Sean, did you look at that word yet?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but oh my
Procreate,
god,
right?
No, my
Any
god,
excuse to say
Oh.
something like that.
I'm thinking of
Phalanges.
how have I? I can't believe I've gone blank with this.
What is it? What are you trying to describe?
Like when everyone, well, not just humans, animals and stuff, like tigers are born to hunt, like it's in their DNA.
It's
What's
inherent?
Yeah, it's inherent, but there's an actual word to describe it. and I've completely gone blank.
All right, Statman, that's your mission.
That's
Yeah, come on, you got
Yeah,
this.
that's
T's like, the fuck do I type in?
Well, who-
Tigers.
Who are we moving on to now?
Moving on to Brady.
Yeah, that'll be me. So we're not even going to subtly try and segue there. We're just moving into work-life balance and the pros cons. Actually, this kind of ties in. You know,
I think it does tie in.
Yeah.
Like when we sort of talked roughly about what was on the menu tonight,
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good way to sort of break it down.
it was better than last week's segue without even having a segue.
And just before like we move on from like if the people that are listening, like male or female, send us a message if you get a chance about maybe the dynamic of your group
Yeah.
and see if you guys are maybe as savage as we are. If you're not, if you're still with the same group of friends, if there is a punching bag in your group, alpha males, yada yada, whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd love to hear
it'd be
some,
cool to hear. And if you do have maybe an answer on why you think that we are mean,
I love. There are definitely different dynamics. And I know
Absolutely.
girls have certain groups where they're like everybody's so friendly, and I just don't understand it. I'm like, how are you getting along so well and not just ribbing each other constantly?
Oh
It's
my God,
amazing
yeah.
to hear. Anyway, yeah. So work-life balance. So it's basically, as far as I'm concerned, work-life balance. It depends on your priorities. Now, are your priorities you want to climb the ladder, so to speak, or are you intending on starting a family? And this can be the big thing that makes it difficult to. You can't really do both. A lot of people can't do both.
well, yeah, a lot of women can't do both.
Wow, sexist much?
I'm sorry, but like at some points they have to take time off to take care of
Yeah.
a child, and you know sometimes men don't want that responsibility. They'd rather the women do it.
yeah.
So that leads straight into parental leave. So parental leave, I've got a few stats about parental leave as far as global statistics go.
Yes.
Have a guess what country has the best parental leave in the world?
Australia.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just gonna ballpark and say like maybe one of the Scandinavian countries. They seem to
Yeah.
be crushing
Usually a
it
good
with
guess.
everything.
Maybe
yeah.
like Norway or Sweden
Yeah.
or something.
Sweden.
It's a good guess, but the highest rate for parental leave in the world is Estonia.
Close.
No.
That was
far
going to be
off.
my next answer. So yeah, I was just off.
They get this is parental leave for maternal and paternity leave. So they get roughly 75 weeks paid.
Oh, wow.
That's past the first kid's birthday. The kid can go to work after that. Like,
Yeah, right.
That's insane.
It's not Russia. It's
Yeah.
Estonia. Yeah.
And then, or it can go up to 90 weeks. So, you know, those extra 15 weeks are unpaid. But still, you
That's
still
a
have
long
a job.
time. It's 4 months.
That's not bad. After that, it goes Bulgaria, Hungary.
Hungary.
Yeah, it's
That classic country.
It's Bulgaria's brother.
it's actually a region of Bulgaria, as far as Lithuania, and then Czech Republic. So Norway has the highest paternal leave that actually includes fathers.
Hey.
So there you go.
Paternal leave.
Good to hear.
Paternal leave, yeah. And they get around 10 weeks paid, so it's still not that much.
The old Norway or the highway.
But what is it in Australia? Isn't Australia like 12 weeks parental leave? Paternal
well,
leave?
I'll get to that because they're way down there.
Well, I think it depends on
Surprisingly.
the company then, but yeah, right.
Yeah, it would. This is just a global average, I
Okay,
suppose,
yeah,
based
yeah.
on the country. So we have Japan with mostly equal paternity and maternity leave. They get 40 weeks paid each. So that's pretty good.
It balances out.
Yeah. South Korea has the highest maternal and paternal leave, both paid until roughly 20 weeks. So Japan is actually 40 weeks total not paid, sorry. South Korea, both paid until 20 weeks, and then they can do 1 year unpaid each, which is 20 weeks is pretty good.
Rushing the mum back to work, like
Yeah, fuck.
leaving their
Well-
infant at home. Like,
Well, didn't the New Zealand Prime Minister go back to work after like 4 weeks
mate,
or
we've already
something?
established that she's amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
She's ridiculous.
Yeah.
A Terminator.
Jacinda, if you're listening, like props to you.
Hit us up. Like, we would love to talk to you.
Oh, if we get imagine landing a PM on the pod, that'd be just like
And tonight, for our,
we've got the New Zealand PM.
Yeah.
talking about Rick Arden being a big horse. Oh, and here's Jacinda.
We get them both in the same room.
So interestingly, none are equal in the world. So there is no country that has equal men and women parental leave. I mean, I
can't
guess
say I'm shocked.
yeah,
Me neither.
it's obviously going to skew usually towards the mother because the mother has to sort of recover as well.
They deserve it. They pushed something out. So
Yeah.
we didn't do shit.
Wait to have a hand squeeze. I don't know. I don't have any kids. So Australian
That you know
wi-
of.
Yeah, shit. So Australian women get roughly 12 weeks paid, roughly, 20 weeks total, and men get 2 weeks unpaid.
What?
Fuck yeah.
Yep, that's
yeah, right.
on average.
2 weeks unpaid.
Yeah.
Wow.
How ridiculous
That
is that?
doesn't seem right at all.
This is just a .org website, so I'm assuming it's
classic.
No,
.org.
Yeah.
you assume, but that's average. So there's obviously some companies that are going to give you more, some are
Yeah.
going to give you nothing. That sounds bad until you go to USA,
Oh, of course.
where there is zero maternity leave.
Obamacare.
Zero.
Bang,
For
there it
men
is.
and women, zero. So there are specific, companies that will give you maternity leave, but good companies.
That care about their stuff.
Clearly, the average is so low that it's pulled it down to basically zero. So it's probably 0 point something. But that's first world country.
Like,
Come on.
how do they expect to have kids and
A workforce
keep a
in
job?
25 years or whatever.
It's almost like they just think their workers are robots and they're easily replaceable. You know, it sucks, man.
Here's my first question. Do you think that this creates an atmosphere of contempt in the workplace for those who actually decide to have kids? Because they remove themselves from a job, and some people might see that as being selfish and not caring about the company.
I think, okay, I was going to say from the female perspective, but that wouldn't be factually correct.
Put on your long hair. You can.
I'll identify however I want to identify.
Exactly.
So
non-binary Sean over
Here we go.
don't judge me so much. No, I think
How's the chassis on this girl?
Mate,
that
you're
is
such a Mitsubishi.
objectifying me. I mean, what can I say? I've been to the panel beaters recently. No, but seriously, like you can't, like, if you're a female who's trying really hard to battle it out, like in a man's world, for example, like as an engineer, so where I work, if you get seen as like disrespectful to the company for wanting to have a child and stuff, and that's just like, you shouldn't be working there, for one, and you shouldn't be made to feel like, yeah, there should be more support around the maternal side of it.
Yeah.
Especially in Australia, 12 weeks paid leave, that's nothing.
That's not a lot.
That's not even 3 months. That's under 3 months. It's 13 weeks in 3 months, so it's less than 3 months. And that's just, it's disgraceful, really, if that's the average.
Yeah.
Like,
I work with a guy, and he's about to have a kid, and he's got 6 weeks planned, and he is getting about a month paid, but that's specifically because my boss is such a great guy. Any other job, he would get nothing. He would
Shout out to Brady's boss.
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy.
not the first shout out he's got on there
He's
either.
a legend.
11 out of 10, yeah.
Yeah, how's that raise coming?
Yeah, I was going to say, Brady's itching for a raise. Yeah.
And paternal leave apparently. But yeah, no, like he's getting a month paid, and then he will be gradually eased back into work. But he's also given the option to work from home. So after 4 weeks, he can start working and introducing himself back in. I think that's something that should be a standard. That sounds pretty basic to me. Imagine having a kid and then being like, leaving your wife or your girlfriend or whoever to then do everything. She has to cook and clean and where's the food? If she needs to go out and get food, she has to take a kid, but she's looking after the kid. It doesn't seem fair at all that it's your kid that's not getting looked after.
Yeah, and especially if you don't have support from like the kid's grandparents and
Yeah.
stuff like that. How do they expect people to get through this massive life event when they can't like get an income while they're doing it?
Should there be more it's easy to say, but should there be more government support to companies then? So if you become pregnant and have kids, then the government can subsidize your wages a little bit to the company.
Well, I guess you could look at it like, this may sound really cold, but it's kind of a choice.
It
for you
is. It is.
So like, that's like, me, let's say, playing a sport. That's a choice. So I can't complain about having to pay fees for the year.
And it's completely up to you whether you want to work for that company, because you sign the contract before the job, and if it
Exactly.
states that you don't get this amount of money, or you do get this amount of money
only
for
X.
maternity, then that's completely your choice if you want to work for them or not. But it just sucks that employers don't want to be more supportive for people in those situations.
I'm hoping that that's a trend that's starting to change, especially in Australia. When you look at all these other countries that have such better, support for people, because you are, even as a company, as a country, investing in the future. When your staff are having kids, you like to see that you care.
You don't want to discourage people from having kids.
Otherwise, honestly, you have things that work out like Japan's economy, where in the next 25 years or something, they're estimated to have 1/3 less people.
Oh, wow.
That's how little people are having kids.
Must
because-
suck to live in Japan.
Well,
man.
like,
It's
just,
crazy.
I don't know, again, like, not to sound cold-hearted, but just looking at it from, like, a purely rational kind of point of
Devil's
view.
advocate.
Yeah, exactly. So if I was a business owner and like like what you're saying is, yeah, they should fork out this money because you want to do something that is of your choice, and I should pay you to do that. That's essentially what maternal and paternal leave is. Though,
Yeah.
is you go, yep, I need to take 2 months off. I'd like to be paid. Thanks. I'm also not going to contribute to your company.
That's why I asked whether governments should then support the company in that period. They should subsidize their wages by then they can hire somebody for a 6 month, because you see them online, 6 month parental cover. And
the
things like
government is then again paying for
But
your leisurely activity. Like,
Yeah.
I know that sounds like really at a basic level, but that's essentially what you're saying is that having a kid is
But a country should be more invested in the future of the country, which is kids. You'd think more than a company would.
I don't think it's the government's problem.
neither.
I don't.
What about Medicare and things like that for kids, or
They make
payments
they
and
make
things?
enough as it
And-
is. With
yeah.
there's enough people having kids, but there's enough money coming to the government from other things
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
that I don't think the money being funneled back into companies to then pay people to have kids. And we already have an issue as it is with
The baby bonus. Remember
exactly
that?
people having kids just so they can get paid.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could look at it from the other point of view is that instead of these people needing parental leave, it'd almost be a good thing to not have paternal and maternal leave to maybe put people off from having children.
So Brett is an advocate for no parental leave. That's the headline there.
Why is it I'm always roped into having the worst headlines?
Keep playing devil's advocate.
I just think I understand the logical point of view. I just think that if I put myself in the position and I was having kids, that I wouldn't feel sort of pressured into immediately coming back and neglecting.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If I was to, let's say, become a father, hell yeah, I'd want to be paid.
Yeah.
And my partner to be paid
Yeah.
to look after the kid. But from a purely business and economical point of view,
Yeah.
it's almost selfish to ask for that sort of money too.
How are
So-
countries like Estonia and that managing?
Okay, just a few stats around Australian parental leave.
Yeah, here's where I get made.
So, as an
wrong.
individual, you can receive up to 18 weeks paid leave.
Okay.
And so your partner can also apply for 2 weeks. So, as a family, you can get 20 weeks paid leave in Australia.
Is that dependent on company, or that's just
I don't
What-
believe so.
What-
There is
what source is
eligibility
this?
criteria. This is
Okay.
humanservices.gov.au.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, you can get up to 24 months total unpaid leave
Yeah.
as a family.
yeah? That's true. You can
in
just
Australia.
clock
You're
off,
entitled to
basically.
that. Fair work. Says,
Just punch out on the way out.
So
Well,
when's the
Statman.
next shift?
Yeah.
2 years.
Oh, it's April 2nd, 2022.
24 months total, so 12 months each.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I roughly got it right with 20 weeks total.
Yeah,
we can
that's
get.
fair.
Yeah.
Thank you, though, Statman.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm just going to open up a little bit. What are the hours like for your guys' jobs?
40-hour weeks for me.
And is that flexible?
Oh, as in do 9 hours one day, 7 days the next instead of 8.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
That high
You've probably
pitch.
never given it a burn. have
No,
you?
I've not taken that. I'm going to do 1 hour today and
Yeah.
You know what?
15 hours tomorrow.
Tomorrow or next Monday, just work the full day and then just space out the next couple of
24 hours,
Yeah, just a couple of 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm only doing 3 days a week, all in a row. But no, there's fatigue policies and stuff in place
Yeah.
that prevents people from doing over 10 or 12-hour days. You need to get written permission to do overtime and stuff. So for me, generally, it will work out to be 8 hours a day. But if I need to leave early, I might get there earlier the next day or stay later the next day, for example, just to make that time up.
Is that out of your own good nature, or is that something that's enforced generally?
It's that would be out of my own good nature, but that's just because our time sheets are sort of self-submitted, but whatever. We don't have to get our hours approved by anyone until the end of the week, and basically my timesheet just says 8 every week. So
Just fill it in for the next few weeks and then
I literally
off.
could.
He actually just works 3 hours a day and just draws the
Yeah.
other half of the 3, so it looks like an 8.
I could just no, it's on a computer, so you can't get away with it. But I could say that I did 8 hours and then leave at midday, and if no one notices I don't come back, I will still get paid the full day. But I'm not going to risk
you are
that.
an office of thousands, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
there's-
easier to get lost a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
What about you, Brett? Because you can't really get lost at your work because you're one of a small team.
Yeah, I'm one of we'll just say 6. Yep. 7. 7. I'm one of 7. I had to think about that. Yeah, so I work pretty long hours.
Flexible hours or
Yeah, for the most part,
Yep.
pretty flexible. Like yesterday, I had an appointment at like 3 and 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much just like my boss, hey, like I just need this to be blacked out. And he's like, yeah, cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I do work long hours. I generally work from about 6 a.m. till about 7 p.m.
Yeah, fuck.
But you're not with clients that whole time.
Not the entire time. So
It's still tiring though.
yeah, it's a long day. I mean, it's good that I love my job. I generally have a couple hours off in the middle of the day, so I usually just exercise. So I kind of look at it in that I do work. We'll say 6 till 5,
And then have your workout.
and then like if I was to come home, let's say at 5 p.m. and go to the gym, I'd still get home roughly the same time. Anyway,
Yeah.
That's still a long day.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that's
still
11
11
hours. Like 55-hour weeks if you're doing 5 days a week. Like
yeah, it is.
Shit.
It is, but like I guess I work in fitness, so people train early before work and people train after work.
and you got to hang around there in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I generally work like today. I had clients till like 11 or 12. Yeah, like 11. Then I had a gap. We're at 8. Then I had clients at like 1, 2, and then 4, 5, 6.
Gee, that's a full-on day, and every day's like that for you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. So it's like even if you were to live, say, next door to the gym, like you wouldn't even be able to sort of duck out for a couple of hours, do shopping, have a nap.
Yeah, I
walk
do
the
that all the
dog.
time.
You do that.
Yeah, well, obviously, I live. I mean, I'm going to be living within 4 minutes of my work in the next couple of weeks, but.
Yeah.
I duck out and do food shopping and stuff like that. If I've got a gap.
Yeah, because that helps. This topic is work-life balance. Like you sort of need that time, like in between the 13 hours. Sure.
Yeah, and it also like I don't know. I guess I'm kind of in the position where I'm sort of saving for like a wedding and a house
Yep.
and just obviously general promotions. So I'm kind of happy to just be grinding at the moment.
Still like earning your stripes, so to speak.
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all. But just grinding out really. Just working.
How do you
as
go
much
with
as I can.
dinner? What happens there?
What do you mean?
Like, do
Just
you
puts it in his
do you
mouth.
have time to cook dinner, or does your partner cook dinner? or
I
fiancé?
usually a bit of both.
Bit of both?
Yeah, we don't usually eat dinner together.
It's KFC every night. Come on.
Yeah, obviously in the fitness industry, I get home and I just smash a
Bucket of the Colonel's finest.
absolutely.
How do you think he got that body?
Yeah,
All that protein, that's how.
11 herbs and spices. You don't know what they've put in them.
Been to the panel beater.
bit of HGH in those herbs and spices.
HGH
Yeah.
and cocaine.
Bit of steering fluid.
that sounds like a lot more than 11 spices. to
Well, I
me.
mean, how are you going to burn those calories?
Yeah. Sorry, what was that? One more time.
Oh, it's it. No,
We're turning that into a GIF right there.
Yeah. Are we?
Yeah.
Sean loses his mind.
What about you, Luke? What's your work-life balance?
I feel like I've got a pretty good balance. However, it is quite all over the place. For work, I can work from 3 hours a day to like 10 hours a day. It varies a lot. I'm also at uni, so I have to take that into account. And I also like my hobby on the side is to produce my own music. So I also like doing that. I also have a girlfriend, and I also love doing stuff with friends and stuff. So, and I also like playing video games. So I have a lot on my plate. Do I balance it? I don't think so. I think it sort of comes in patches. Like at 1 week, I'll be really into like uni work and like games and stuff. And then the next week I'll drop the games, work on my music more because I haven't worked on that. And I mean, it's hard to balance a lot of things, but I like spreading myself thin. I like being busy. There was a point over the summer where I told on the first episode, I actually did like sweet fuck all over the summer because I just had nothing to do. I had no uni. I was working, but not as regularly because we have Christmas casuals at work. And I think music was at a standstill for me at that point because it was sort of Christmas and you don't really want to do much over then. But yeah, at the end of the day, especially with work, like I get paid on a casual basis. So I have to make sure that all the hours I'm working are like getting accounted for and that I'm actually, going, because I don't have work leave or anything. When I go on holiday, the middle of this year, like I have to have enough money saved up because I won't be paid while I'm away on holiday. Like I don't have any leave or anything like that. So yeah, it's I'm always striving to balance all those things in my life. So and hopefully one day I'll get it nice and balanced.
How many hours a week do you work?
Roughly
On average?
20.
20 hours a week. Okay,
20
so
to-
part time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then uni's part time or full time?
Uni's full time.
Jeez.
Music's part time.
You're a busy man.
I am a busy man.
I think it's hard as well to keep hold of like your hobbies as well when you start working full time as well. I don't know. I think like when I first started working full time, I kind of felt like I wasn't seeing my friends.
Yeah, your priorities change a bit.
Of course, yeah. And it's tough, like, because I think you go from having a lot more free time to being like, fuck, like I haven't done that X thing that I love a lot in a while.
Yeah.
So
You
that's
drop
always
that
tough.
third, fourth, fifth hobby a little bit.
Yeah, like, even today, like obviously Thursdays are pretty hectic for me generally, like probably one of my busiest days. And then I'm always late, obviously, for when we start this.
Fucking hell, bro.
Yeah, I know, but like, I don't know. I always make it like a priority to get here. I don't know. So like, it's good to I think have those little things in the week where like we obviously all get to catch up. Tear shreds off each other.
Oh, yeah, mate.
I'm just going to drop a few stats quickly before we wrap this subject up. I was going to ask if you see yourself changing jobs in the future because the average person changes jobs 12 times during their career.
Didn't we talk about this last week?
No, but that has that's gone up like significantly. I'm pretty sure it's it used to be like 7 or 8.
Yeah, it
So-
says this goes down for younger generations. So the median employee tenure is 4.3 years for men and 4 years for women. So that's how long you stay in a job. But that's gone down with younger generations. So the older generation would get a job and stick with it for years and years and years, which isn't a great thing. Because if you want to work your way up or if you want to find a job that suits you more as you progress as a person, sticking around it suits the company, but doesn't necessarily suit you as an
Yeah,
individual.
but how sweet would long service be? 6 months of paid leave?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
How long do you have to work someone to get long service?
Like 7 years.
7 years or 10 years or something? I don't know. Something that...
Well, you get paid more the longer you work. I know that.
But imagine
you get paid for a longer period.
I
of
would
time, I guess.
rather quit after 3 years than work for 10 years for the sake of it.
Financially speaking, I read a stat somewhere from one of our friends. I don't know where he got it from. That the best thing financially that you can do is to quit a job every 2 years.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that
Just
was.
to
I think I
maximise
read that in
finances.
like Forbes a couple of months ago.
That's probably where he got it from.
Yeah,
So, out of curiosity, how long have we all been in our current jobs?
2 months.
A year and a half.
Sean?
My current job, I started Feb 11, so not even 2 months.
And then, okay, so the one before that?
I was close to 2 years, just under 2 years. About.
Yeah, right.
Sean's on the right track. Brett?
It'll be 2 years in July.
Time to look for a new job, mate.
Yep.
No,
Time to trade up.
I love my job.
But yeah, so 12 times during their career is not. If you look at a career of being 50 years, 60 years, that's not.
Man,
too bad.
that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Like-
And people change careers completely as well. Go back, study, and do something different. I think that's not a bad thing to do if you can financially afford it.
Well, moving on now. Sean, what was your topic?
Thanks for giving me that segue, Luke.
You're right.
My topic is...
Better than last week's.
So,
Could have gotten worse.
so this is something that we pretty much wanted to do from even before episode
Get
1,
go,
from like the
yeah.
demos. Like this was something that we first discussed as like, yeah, we definitely want to touch on that. And it's
The
about,
chassis, we've already spoken about them.
mate, they've been repaired.
Is it Rick
They've been
Arden?
repaired. No, he's been touched on tonight.
Jeez.
Yeah, take that how you will.
I mean, he did.
Did you assume his gender?
Stop.
Okay.
That was the topic.
No, okay. The topic is social media influencers.
Here we go.
Yeah,
So-
chestnut.
Well, I'll start with a quote, with a little stato. So, a recent report by Stackler, whoever the hell they are,
Stackler.
revealed that 23% of people believe content from celebrities and influencers is influential. Alternatively, 60% say content from friends or family influences their purchasing decisions. So, that opens the questions up. Do social media influencers do it for fame or do it because they actually want to influence people?
They do it for fame.
Do it for fame.
100 billion%.
They
Discuss.
do it for fame. All right, they don't give a fuck about the product
Nope.
they're pushing.
Nope.
All they want, guy
money.
or girl, is money.
Yeah. I was talking about this today with actually a client, which was really strange. And you can't, there's like actually a whole new trend now of people fighting back against this and calling out people selling bullshit for the sake of making money. Like I think the most recent example was one of the Kardashians or Jenners selling like one of those herbal tea things. And
That makes me
one
so
of the
angry.
comments was like from somebody else who was quite famous, Jamil someone.
Jamil.
Yeah, Jamil. Like I don't know. I think she's an actress or something. And basically, her whole thing was breaking down what she was selling, saying this is not true. This has not been FDA approved. All of this that you're selling to all these young, easily influenced people is like you're taking advantage of them and you're getting money out of it. You don't give a shit about this product. And like it got so much attention. So I hope that becomes a bit of more of a norm.
Okay, but I don't think she's not a social media influencer. Okay, she is an influencer, but she didn't choose to be one. She is a mercenary. She's someone that people pay to sell their products. She's an advert. She's a walking, talking advert. I'm talking about people who
Small
were
like
nothing.
startup people.
Yeah,
basically.
who were nothing and now have exploded and have millions of followers on Instagram from nothing.
What's a good example of that?
So I went to school with I went to primary school with a girl who's quite big on Instagram, Steph Packer. Sure, some of you guys.
Yeah, I know her.
The name
Yeah.
rings a bell.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
she's I guess like a Fitstagrammer. This
Fitspo.
heavy emphasis on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she was like a personal trainer,
That's
and
the
then
chassis.
moving on. Yes, she was like a personal trainer, and then just started like pushing. Obviously she's good looking. She obviously works out, so she's got a pretty good body.
T's got the Instagram pump.
Yeah,
you
so
wanna see
she's
Brady.
yeah, so
The
she's-
chassis.
I think she's got over 1 million. What is it?
It just says 1 million.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
She's
she's got
slowed down.
1 million flat. And Brady approves. Yeah.
Smelling a lemon.
Yeah, she just pushes products. It's like
Yeah.
she's like one of those guys or girls who just is paid to look pretty and flex some muscles and
That's
push
you,
them.
right?
I don't get paid. Well, I don't get paid to do that on Instagram.
You should start. Let's flip it to you guys. Luke, you haven't chimed in yet.
I'm good mates with, and his girlfriend is a Fitspo model.
Influencer.
Yeah, definitely an influencer. But she, before she was that, and I actually knew her before she was that. She did PR and advertising, social media advertising for clients. Like I think one of her biggest clients was what's the Australian actor's name? Not Heath Ledger. The other one.
Hemsworth.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. There's only 3.
Yeah, that's all about good exports.
Yeah.
There's about 15 Hemsworths.
Hugh Jackman's personal trainer was her biggest client, and she would do
wow.
social media stuff.
So
for
she was
him.
kind of made to go into that sort of business.
Yeah,
Like-
she knows about the business, and so what she did was she got she took a before picture, and then she got really fit. I think she might have used another influencer's what's it called?
Regime.
filter?
Yeah.
Oh, like
Workout.
ebook kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. And then she got really good results, and she was looking amazing. And she just kept using her knowledge of social media to really push that. And now she's got well over 1 million followers.
Yeah.
It's something crazy. And she's killing it. But my mate will just tell me how it's just a bit annoying sometimes. Like people will always recognize them on the street and stuff. And
Does he feel a bit weird that people are potentially constantly looking at his girlfriend as well?
Yeah, I would think that as well. But she is a lovely girl, and she's really nice, and she's so cool and stuff. So I mean, we don't know these people personally. They could actually be really nice people, but just the whole act of social media influencers is just, I don't buy into it. I don't think I probably follow 1 or 2, and it's only because they're hot. It's not because I'm actually really interested in what they're trying to influence upon me.
Yeah, I don't follow any, and the whole idea just annoys me so much. I get so triggered. But let's try and get to the bottom of this. Are these people are they just scam artists, or are some people legit?
No, I think honestly they're just full-time attractive people.
Yeah.
And whether we like it or not, we kind of look up to them. Such a strong use of the word, but look up to them in a certain degree.
It's not just the fitness world though. There are influencers even in tech. and things
absolutely,
like that.
everything.
Yeah.
I follow a bunch of video gamers who
Yeah.
are influencers.
Yeah.
There's gamers who are now pushing things they call G Fuel, which is a brand, which is essentially
Yeah.
it's like a gaming inspired Red Bull, essentially.
I've heard of that.
You know,
Yeah.
like stuff like that. So it's across every industry.
But that funnily enough, was what I was talking about today. That is something where they have got their, because of hard work. If they're an influential gamer, the odds are they are influential because they're good. Whereas somebody who is maybe, I mean, to be an influencer and because you're good looking, you've had to put in a lot of hard work yourself as well. So I guess these people have had to earn this sort of right, so to speak.
Oh, they've all grinded, I think, in some way, shape, or form.
And to get that amount of followers, they don't just post a couple of photos. They're actually like putting out a lot of content. So that is a bit of work in itself. I don't know. I just don't buy into it too much.
Client I was talking to today, she has 2 young kids, and her main issue is that we as a generation have had people that we have looked up to as role models, and now the next generation of people who have role models are going to be people who potentially don't have skills that they're actually looking up to. Like they're not people that you should actually aspire to be.
Yeah, all right. So I've got a quote from a bloke named Rand Fishkin, and I've never heard of him, but he's got a blue tick on Twitter, so he must be legit. And he's come out and said...
that's the official sign of like, yeah.
I mean, Rand Fishkin sounds like a made-up name, but I'm going to give this guy credit. No, he's turned out... He went and said, I guess this was from last year, in 2012, influencer marketing meant discover all the sources that influence your audience and do marketing of all kinds in those places. It's like a very honest form of marketing, I guess. But in 2018, influencer marketing has come to mean pay half-naked people on Instagram $500 to pose with your product. And I'm sure in many cases, much, much more than $500.
Sex sells.
That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has for decades.
It's the oldest profession, kind of.
Yeah.
Selling your body, like that is a form of selling your body.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. No, and that's
And I was gonna say $500. That's a most famous people, like big time grammars wouldn't do it for that.
You have to add a couple of zeros to them.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I'm pretty sure. I remember, like obviously Hack Triple J. They did a segment on a girl who had a massive following, and then she just threw it all away and deleted all social media because she just got tired of like the industry kind of thing. And yeah, she's getting paid like I think $3,000 or $4,000 a post, and this was 2 years ago.
I'm pretty sure the Kardashians and that get like $200,000.
Yeah, for
post.
a product.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Insane.
Easy money.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to flip this around a bit. So we're going to see if there's any beneficial like examples of influencing. And so a thought I had was a lot of like influencers are fitness gurus in inverted commas, but they might just be doing it for fame, but or even validation of their own bodies. Like they could just be doing it because they want people to comment on them and get attention.
A vanity project.
Exactly. So, but could they be doing society help by accident by actually helping people who need it get fit and promoting healthy lifestyles? So these people would just be like absolutely full of it, but just by accident they're helping people
to get into
Depends
shape.
what they're promoting, I guess. If they're
whole-
promoting like these teas and shit, then
Yeah, I think that's a good thing if that's actually happening. But I reckon 90% of the time it's more just people just like looking at their bodies, people just like looking at how beautiful they are. I don't think they're actually taking what they're saying and really implementing it in their life. And that's just my opinion. But there is probably people out there that are being influenced by these people and use that as a good encouragement to get fit.
So you reckon it's just a small percentage?
I reckon it's just a small percentage.
Yeah.
Brett, you tasted a little bit of the influencer high life when you got some free yogurt. How was that?
Oh man,
Forgot about that.
that was amazing.
That's basically influencing at its most basic.
form,
yeah, and like wasn't really trying to either.
I saw those ass shots.
I sent those to just you. No,
Slid into my DM.
like
him a
honestly.
shout out,
So
yeah.
shout outs to Chobani, big Chobani lover. Anyway,
I am too.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
yogurt.
oh, great
If
yogurt.
you're a
I
fan,
love-
Chobani.
Elite yogurt.
I love buying the ones, the tube ones. You can just have it. as a
oh,
snack.
yep.
Acid
Yeah.
Test Chobani collab coming out.
Oh,
Imagine that.
Yeah, that's up, Chobani.
Get your own acid.
honestly,
test
I don't give a
flavor.
fuck. Is this us selling out? I don't care. I do anything
We are
for
influencers
Chobani.
now, yeah.
Yeah, I just posted like I think of my breakfast on Instagram, like on one of my stories, and just happened to I think tag Chobani, I think. And yeah, they like messaged me and was just like, oh hey, basically, what's your address? We'll send you a little care package in the mail. And
If that was anyone else, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" Is
yeah,
that?
if it was anyone else, like I'd just be like, yeah.
Yeah. Here's my
But yeah, they hit me up, and yeah, I received something like the 2 or 3 days later. It was great. It was a couple of yogurts and a personalized spoon.
oh,
Hell yeah.
That is amazing.
Good stuff.
So how can we make influencing a more positive experience? Is there a way? Does society have to change? What is it? What has to happen? What changes need to be made for it to become an inherently good thing?
like I said earlier, I think there needs to be more people who get props for calling out bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Like actual other influential people, like actors and that, calling out this bullshit of people selling false products in order to sort of just to make money. So if you can sell something that you actually believe in, go for it, not a problem. If you're selling something purely that you know doesn't work, you're
Just to make money.
snake oil basically, then
Snake money.
snake oil.
On a similar thing, a lot of YouTubers are getting called out for that sort of stuff. Where I think if you know Jake Paul and
Paul Brothers, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely Jake Paul and this other one. I can't remember his name, but they got into trouble because they were advertising this website where it's like a lottery, and you put in like if you pay, it's I can't explain it. It's like you pay money, and they will send you a gift, and they give you the range of gifts that you can get from it. So you could get like the smallest thing, which was like I don't know, some like a mini car replica thing, but the best thing you could get from it was like an iPhone. So people are like, oh well, yeah, I'll pay like $50 for this, and you know, if I get an iPhone, then hell yeah, I'll get an iPhone, you know. And it's pretty much gambling, because people are just like, well, if I put this money in and I don't get it, then at least I just get something else, you know. Do you know what I mean?
That sounds
Yeah.
statistically like a terrible idea.
Statistically, yeah, and like Jake Paul did it, and it's like, oh man, all right, so all I have to do is just put like $700 in. If I win it, then like I'll get a MacBook
If you
Pro.
put more
and
in, do you get a
yeah, you get like a better range of items you could get, and you put $700 in, and he
Jeez.
gets an iPhone, which is I don't think is worth 700 American or
yeah.
something like that. And it's just like, oh man, I'm really on a MacBook, but whatever. I just got so much money, and he brags about it and stuff.
Oh.
So yeah, just shit like that, where like you have an audience that are really influenced, and you're selling them a product that is not so good.
Yeah.
People could fall into water for that.
I've got a similar example, and and I can't tell you the name because you've just brought it to my memory now.
go on?
It was a vegan on YouTube, and she got caught eating eggs, and her followers went mental.
I bet.
That's such a
Yeah.
strange thing to get caught doing, being a vegan, though.
Yeah. So she had to basically go on YouTube and explain and say, "Oh, my doctors made me do it, this, that, and the other." But instantly, her integrity was brought into question. It's like, was she ever a vegan?
Yeah,
And
why
all
did
that.
she have to explain it to him once she got caught out? Why didn't she just explain it to him as they went along? I mean, that's a pretty
Yeah.
good excuse.
She probably wouldn't have got the following.
Yeah,
then.
well, it's kind of like the devil you know is worse than the devil you don't know.
mate?
No,
Jeez,
better.
didn't realize we hit with like some fucking truth right
Oh,
there.
that's like, you know, the classic expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to end the topic on that. To be honest, that's
All right.
like great.
That was great.
Stuff. Yeah,
Did we end up finding out what that word was, by the way?
it's gone from my mind.
It was Procreate.
T, you couldn't
wasn't.
find anything about it?
It was
Didn't find
procreate.
anything.
It's like predisposition, but like when you're born with something, it's inherent. It's
Maybe it's Maybelline.
primitive.
Primitive!
Hey!
That's actually appropriate. Like, I don't think that's like the word you're looking for.
That
Yeah.
was. It's
I
a
don't-
primal instinct.
Yeah, primarily. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
All right, can we
Let him have his moment, too.
can we
Let's just slide into cool or not cool.
can we get the cool or not cool acapella going again this week? Brady, start us off.
Wait, how'd it go last week again? You started off because I've already
No,
forgotten.
you started off.
Wait, what? What's going on?
Just you got to say that we got cool or not cool.
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 cool or not cool.
Skip-a-dee-pop-a-doo. Oh, I see how that works now. All right.
Did you even listen to the episode last week?
I was a part of it. All right, cool or not cool. Number one. This is a throwback. Gym buses.
What?
Oh, as in like the
Those jungle gym buses.
Oh, I said it was a throwback.
Jesus.
Yeah, cool. They're awesome. I really want to go on another one. They should make one for adults.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think that's wine tours,
With-
mate.
Yeah,
Gym
you're right.
train.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, how could they be not cool? Of course, they're insanely cool.
Were you
Yeah.
ever afraid of getting stuck though? Like, you know, because you could go from the second story.
Don't ruin a good thing. We were going to get a unanimous call there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, nah, yeah.
Yeah, gym buses are cool.
Yeah, really cool. They promote healthy life.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I don't care. But
Influencing in the best way.
Yeah, fun as fuck. Okay, number 2, genetically modified food.
Cool. It tastes exactly like normal food.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna give that a cool. Like, I've got nothing against it. Like, I know people kick up a fuss about it, but I personally do not care.
Brett?
yeah, I can't believe we're going to get 2 in a row, but cool.
Yeah. I'm going to say cool as well. I've seen some of those, like apples and size of a child's head.
Strawberries, like massive strawberries,
Oh.
that's my jam.
Yeah, I mean,
Strawberry-
as long as
my
it's
strawberry
all
jam.
like symmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you
My
get
kid doesn't turn out weird.
you get a wonky head.
Yeah.
That's a
Imagine
good throwback.
strawberry the size of an apple. Oh, delicious.
Oh, yeah.
No, I
Delicious.
like the smaller strawberries personally, but moving on.
Same flavor. Imagine. Oof. Anyway, number 3, Elton John.
Cool. Gonna see that new movie.
Hell yeah.
Rocket
Elton?
Man.
Oh, Rocket Man.
Elton.
Elton would be a good name.
Yeah. And I'm also doing an assignment on him at uni as well.
Cool.
Nice. What's your assignment?
It's actually on the song Rocket Man. I have to do a song analysis on the
Nice.
whole song. It's going to be really
It's
cool.
an excellent song. I'm gonna say, yeah, easy cool. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, can't say a bad word about Elton.
I'm going to say cool. And I'm going to say he's a bit of an influencer, influencer.
Yeah, he is.
Oh man,
That style?
He's a
Forget
cool
about
looking
it.
dude.
Yeah.
Man, that's 3 for 3.
I can't believe that he's been denied citizenship to Monaco twice.
Yeah, true.
And that's a $1 million. It costs $1 million to apply for citizenship
Jeez.
to Monaco,
Any-
and he's been rejected
Any
twice.
reason why?
Obviously, Monaco haters.
Yeah.
They think he's not cool.
Not Rocket fans. Number 4, we've got being left-handed.
Yes.
That is so niche.
Not cool. There's just so much stuff like,
You don't get it, man.
It's such a weird thing to discuss, too.
yeah, there'd just be so much stuff that you just
not
like
made
would
for
be
you.
so, yeah, it would just be so hard to use because
Yeah.
you're left-handed.
Left-handed spoons just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. Oh, come on, of course it's cool. Like, you know, all the best. Like,
Sean, are you left-handed?
I am left-handed. And whenever you see another left-handed person, it's just like, oh,
Is
brother. Yeah, it is. It is.
Brother.
No, yeah, sister, whatever. whatever.
Person.
You know, yeah, like gender-neutral person. Like, it's like. I always manage to make Mike cringe. You want to call it not cool? No, it's awesome, and it's like it's like you're an exclusive club. It's like I'm in the same club with like Leo Messi, like Matthew Lloyd, Lance Franklin, just like all these people I
You know,
idolize.
ISIS is an exclusive club. Doesn't mean it's good.
James
yeah, you know, but
Who?
James Harden. James Harden. There you
Jam.
go. Yeah, like come on. Yeah, it's
All right.
cool.
Brett?
Of course, it's cool.
was a big case, by
I'm
the
not
way.
left-handed, but both my sisters are. Yeah, it's cool. Although it must suck, like having to write on a whiteboard or like with a
Yeah,
pen.
that
does
because
suck.
Yeah.
You're just permanently smudging everything.
I'm going to say not cool purely for the same reasons, Luke. There'll be so many things that just wouldn't work innately
Golf
for
clubs.
you. You can get left-handed ones, but yeah, they wouldn't. You'd have to look specifically. for them.
Guitars.
When have I ever like been denied an opportunity of something because of the hand I write with? Never. We play golf.
Sean, put your hand
We've
down
been
right now.
banned with-
I don't want to assume you're
hand.
denies.
Mate, mate.
All right, number 5. Moving on. Pork.
Love it. Cool. Pork's great.
Pork is an elite meat. Elite.
Elite.
Left-handed.
I'd go as far as it's above beef when done properly.
Wow.
That's a huge
I'd
call.
say okay. In order, if I was to rank, and I like ranking foods,
Yeah.
and this is something I want to do on the podcast, but I don't think you guys will like agree with it. But I like ranking foods. I'd say like top 5 meats would be like venison is number 1. Like I'd say pork when it's done properly could be number 2, maybe lamb, but it's like top three meat.
Maybe we could get like a pit cooked pork in here for one episode.
Podcaster, not indoors. We're not doing that indoors.
Oh, we'll do it outside.
Fuck,
Bring it
Sean, I
indoors.
for one love ranking meats.
No. Foods in general. I gave you guys my top 5 fruits, and I said I want to do that as a topic.
Let's get a luau going.
Top 5
luau.
fruits would be a good topic.
I like ribs. Ribs are cool, but pork is meh. I'd
Too
rather
fatty?
Yeah, pardon?
Too fatty.
It's leaner
It's
than
just,
beef.
I just prefer chicken or beef.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
not
say,
cool.
I'm going to say not cool, and I eat pork, but I'm going to say not cool because it's kind of bland in general to me.
Mate,
I think
you-
Yeah, only ribs.
You
I
have
haven't
not
had
had it done
Yeah.
properly then.
I've had it done properly, and good
you're
beef
not.
is better than good pork.
It absolutely is not.
Well, that's all right. You got the left hand, so you're also wrong with that.
No, it just means I'm right with everything.
What?
Pun intended.
You'd be left with everything.
Nah.
That
Left
was
with
actually
nothing.
unintended as well. That's not bad.
Leftovers, like.
All right, I think that rounds it out. That's another week in the bag. Thanks
is.
very much for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.